Remember when
Switched.
fucking on the campaign trail, they were saying that Joe Biden was hiding in his basement because he wouldn't do any press. This has been since day one. They've been Weekend at Bernie's this thing. They just lied and tried to make everyone believe they weren't seeing what they were seeing.
And everyone saw it and no one wanted to accept it.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be the party of like virtue and good, and you're gaslighting and lying the entire country. It just feels so like dirty.
Yeah, because we expect that from the Republican Party.
We do. They seem more like the greedy.
We know what they want. They want to maintain some power. They want to,
cut taxes.
And make
they
their
want to
friends
win
money.
and get rich.
Yeah. Deregulate, cut taxes, and make the homies money. That's the Republican playbook.
I want all my homies to get rich.
Yeah. And I want less taxes and all the above. It's so frustrating that now we all say, what? Joe Biden's not fit? I didn't think Joe Biden did that bad for Joe Biden.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Hey guys.
Hey.
What's going on?
You guys didn't record on Sunday?
No, we were on our family reunion.
Right. That's right.
The lovely Carlsbad, California.
Lovely. My dad was texting me like, where's the debate recap?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm sure they did it. It must be up there. And we didn't. So we got a lot to catch up on. But yeah, we were all out of town.
We've got a lot of requests on our debate recap.
So we should just get into it.
I want to, but I want to know what Dramo's up to. Some pretty nice posts.
I mean, you know what he was up to. You saw it.
I know, but other people.
I went to the 50th birthday celebration of my cousin Rob Dyrdek, Cabo San Lucas.
By the way, he looks great for 50.
All that longevity is working.
I know, bro. It's
All
good.
the
We were talking about how we're gonna have 50 more years. We're gonna have a 100th birthday party, probably very similar in the same location.
He might look the same.
Yeah, I mean, he'll just probably have wrinkled skin, but probably the same energy at 100.
Yeah. I did tell him to put on sunscreen, and he said, "I leather, not lather." So, he wants leathery skin. So I'm guessing wrinkled skin is a good bet.
Yeah.
But yeah, 50th birthday. I mean, it was great. Let me just say, golfing is such an amazing, it's like an activity you can all do and you can kind of base a trip around.
Yeah.
And it's so fun because so we went to Cabo. Rob had a birthday dinner the first night. It was great. It was a lot of people I hadn't seen in a while. A lot of people I had. But the old gang, you guys know the old gang. Yeah. But it kind of felt like a reunion, of a once great all-star team or something, because we all went through TV together and it was a pretty wild time. And now everyone's married and has kids and going to bed early, but we were kind of reliving the glory days, And
that's fun.
So that was really fun. Then they had a nightclub at the hotel, which we essentially just had to ourselves, which looked really cool and modern, but it was just us playing whatever music we wanted to and hanging out. And then pretty much the next 2 days we golfed. And it's just so sick to, have that activity that we can all go do together, as opposed to just sitting by the pool drinking for 3 days, which also would have been fine, but it was fun. And Cabo golf is just the sickest thing ever. Every single thing that I complain about uptight country club bullshit rules golf, Cabo got rid of all of that. So the first day I showed up in a polo, and I was like, hey, what's your guys' dress code? Because I just felt like it was a little loose, and it was a nice course. And the guy was like, oh, we don't have one. And I was like, okay. So the next day I showed up in a wife beater and sweat shorts, and I was like, is this okay? And he was like, dude, most people play with no shirt and no shoes, and girls in bikini tops. You're fine. And it's just all based around fun. You take a shot at the first all of the little like refreshment stations. They make you margaritas. They have fresh fruit, tacos. I mean, it's just.
How was the weather? It looked like it was really nice weather this weekend in Cabo. Like not too hot.
Nice. It was a little, I mean, it was probably 85. So
which is not bad for Cabo.
Not unbearable. It's a little rough. I will say, like we've talked about on the pod, I don't drink that much anymore. And so waking up on Saturday with like a real hangover and then going to stand in the sun for 4 hours golfing.
Yeah.
It was a little warm, but it ended up being fine. Everything. Yeah, it was good.
That's awesome.
Far from unbearable. It was
happy
great. So happy birthday, Rob. I'm so glad he put that together.
It looked amazing from all the posts I saw. Can I share one golf story that I heard?
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky, obviously hockey legend, a mutual friend of mine knows him. And Gretzky plays with Trump and says Trump outdrives him by 30 yards.
So he's a beast. See, two-time club championship. Speaking about the debate,
exactly. That was my lead-in.
That was a good segue.
Yeah.
All right. So the much requested. I mean, I can't believe we get to do this. I thought you guys had already done it on Sunday. So
no,
and
I watched every minute of it.
Right. And what's good is not only did the debate happen, but now there's already been some like post, reactions, but also Biden's reaction. So
there's a lot to unpack.
Yeah. If you just focus on the debate itself, my objective view on it was, Biden obviously fared very poorly, which is obviously now, we were a week away from the debate. I don't think that was a surprise take, which I said, I think the episode we recorded lead-in was like he was going to get crushed. And I don't even know why that was a surprise take. I mean, we've all been watching the press conferences. We've been watching his campaign speeches. He's out of it. The poor guy's out of it.
He's mentally compromised. There's no question. Everyone knows it. Liberal media knows it.
But then when on the Trump side, Trump was sharp. He was his usual self, witty, and the feedback what's crazy is the feedback was everything he said was a lie and that he still was nasty as he always is. I don't think people remember
what he used to be.
I was like, oh, he seems like a great guy.
So I think he had a wounded gazelle in front of him and he didn't go after it.
Exactly.
There was one moment when he said, I'm not sure what you said there at the end of your sentence. I don't think he
I think he got prepped actually really well. Obviously he lied the whole time, but he didn't do it in a visceral way.
I don't think anything. I mean,
what were the lies?
That's what I want to know. Exactly what were the lies?
I'm not saying there weren't lies. I'm just asking.
He didn't address January 6th. He didn't address.
Well, that's not lying. He just didn't address it. That's what politicians do.
But he did though. But he did. He said, I said, we're going to go down there peacefully and blah, blah, blah. He might not have addressed it like thorough enough, but like he did.
Addressing and deflecting are two different things.
Let's say it differently. The winner of the debate, all they had to do is
breathe,
complete sentences.
Not do this. I mean, just Biden's look while Trump was talking killed him on the debate.
And I think Trump was prepped to basically not crush him.
Yeah.
Because he could have.
Right.
Because there were so many moments.
Because I think it would have been backlash of just like.
But where were the lies?
What's that?
What were the lies?
He didn't address any of the policies, anything.
No one ever addresses that.
I know, but that's deflecting. That's not lying.
Okay,
lying.
Fine. Call it deflecting.
No, but CNN kept saying, I watched CNN right afterwards and said, every single thing he said was a lie. This is why his poll numbers keep going up.
But CNN also criticized Biden.
I know. Yeah, that's fine. They finally criticized Biden because you had no choice. If you stood there and you have no, obviously these people have very little integrity to begin with. All of these cable journalists, then you just watch the debate. It was comical. The only good part about it was when he said Trump said he's a 2-time club championship. He told him he was a handicap of 6.
That was the most argumentative they got.
Yeah,
it was the golf.
Yeah,
hey, don't fuck with golf. You can talk about foreign policy, COVID. Don't you fucking lie about your handicap.
Yeah.
And
maybe that was the lie they were talking about. There's no way this guy won the club championship twice.
Right. That is probably a lie. I'm okay with that. The only reason why I say this is because it's not that once
and he's
again,
like, not even the one for seniors, the regular one.
Right. It's not like I'm trying to say like, no, Trump is so great. It's just like, I feel like they're trying to use the 2016 playbook of like, oh my God, look at all the lies. And like, where were all the lies? That wasn't just normal politician deflecting.
Yeah.
So, everyone's been able to dissect the debate. We're a weekend. So I think the fallout is actually the more interesting thing to talk about today. Whether Biden gets the switcheroo, which I've been saying for 6 months, that he's not going to be the candidate. So the New York Times released an article this morning saying a key ally to Biden is saying he needs to bow out. And then Biden came back and said, I'm not bowing out.
I'm running no matter what, and I'm going to win.
Yeah. He's not going to win.
He's like Kanye. It's like, can nobody in the room tell you when it's time, dude?
Well, I think he's a stubborn man. And there was a lot of backlash against his wife. Basically, the wife is running the show.
Yeah.
And that
everyone's saying if Joe Biden says you're out, he bows out. And Jill wants to be first lady.
Yeah, why not? She might be president. She actually might be the president. We don't know that. She might not be first lady.
The other interesting take I heard on a podcast was that Republicans were so nervous of how poorly Biden performed that the switcheroo is going to happen and someone's going to beat Trump.
Right.
Because if he just performed mediocre,
right.
Trump would have just mopped him up in November and become president.
Yeah.
But like, there is no mechanism.
There is. The convention, it happened 50 years ago with Barry Goldwater, I believe, where you just have an open convention and everyone gets to like pick their delegates.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to have to do that. When's the convention?
August 15th. It's mid-August.
Yeah, it's coming up.
They're going to have to, dude. It's just like, I mean, literally at this point, I know you just kind of said this, but literally you could make the candidate Jill Biden and she would have a better shot.
So
she looks spry.
So
she could be like, hey, I've been the one. Look, it's been me. Let's just keep this going.
In the last 4 or 5 days, right after the debate, everyone in the Democratic Party shit on Biden. The next day, Obama comes out in support of Biden. And
Obama did it before everyone started shitting on him.
No,
because he did it like the night of the debate.
No,
everyone has a bad night.
Yeah,
that was his tweet.
But that was in the morning,
man.
He basically shifted the conversation. Then Bill Clinton came out in support of Biden as well. So then, it was like, all right, we're backing our guy Biden. But then over the weekend, more speculation starts happening. Sunday night, they're going to have a meeting. And then apparently all the Democratic governors are getting together today to talk about their support.
I think Gavin's in DC now.
Obviously, he's not supporting Sleepy. He's trying to sneak that seat. And so then what happened was we come to learn that all the money that's been raised, the only way that it gets allocated if it's Kamala Harris. It cannot be used for another candidate.
So $230 million has been raised. So it'll eventually be $1 billion.
Yeah.
By the time November comes.
So that $230 that's
how
allocated.
It works, because it's like you raised it under the pretense that it was.
Yes. So, but Harris is still on the ticket. It's fine.
Harris has no shot either.
So yeah, obviously Harris may lose all 50 states.
Also, the thought of like
even
if
like
Biden,
like Guam, she's losing Guam. If Puerto Rico, I don't know if they're allowed to vote or not, but like that, Kamala Harris is losing 100%.
Right.
There's like nobody voting.
So that's the big problem, that the 230 can't be transferred.
Yeah, so that's why now it's like, okay, well, we're not giving up the 230. You know, what are you returning the money? No.
If you return the money, can they redonate to the new candidate?
Sure, but like these people steal money professionally. Politicians, they steal. Right. They're fucking thieves.
Right.
So
I just do not get, and I said this leading up to the debate, how, like, dude, we knew the debate was going to go exactly this way. Like, to be honest, I was surprised there wasn't more like sort of like brain freeze up moments. I thought he actually did as good as I would have expected. How are we here in July and you guys are panicking? Like,
yeah.
how,
This was-
dude?
This
You've
was known
this.
6 months ago.
This was
is
known
a year ago.
This was
ago.
known the day he got in office. Okay, we have a 4-year placeholder. Let's start
This is,
working
again,
today
goes
on
back-
who's next.
Goes back to, again, the arrogance of the Democratic Party
Ugh,
when it came
blows my
to
mind.
going against Trump. So now today's latest news is that came out against Trump was around Epstein, and that Donald Trump was involved in a sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl.
So they're just trying to, obviously slander him.
You got to just
And-
throw Hail Marys.
So there's two different things that I think from.
And by the way, see how you just glossed over that? That is what the Democrats do not understand.
Yeah, and you're the
What's
woke
up?
guy of the pod. You did that didn't even phase
I just
you.
told you that Donald Trump may have sexually raped a 13-year-old girl, and he said the problem is you just moved on because
Yeah, 'cause you know it's
nobody
all-
cares anymore.
Well, not even nobody cares. I'm assuming it's made up.
I mean, it's in
Exactly.
a court document. It's in a court document.
Right, but the point is, like, to Anand's, exactly what Anand said is the truth. Any of that approach you take for the next few months is just going to
Yeah.
be skipped right over and assumed it's fake or it's a lie or it's embellished or whatever.
Yeah,
Their
I mean,
playbook is terrible.
I think Trump has slept with a lot of women. I'm assuming they're in their 20s.
Yeah, well, that you can bank on. Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's
I
just
don't
more
think
the point that
Trump's
everyone's
banging
numb.
a 13-year-old. Like, as much as I hate Trump, I don't think
Right.
he's banging a 13-year-old.
Right. And look, here's the point. The point is anything for the next 4 months, it's just no one's going to really listen to from the Democrats.
Yeah,
when
I
it
wonder
comes
what
to those type of approaches.
I wonder what the Pod Save America guys are saying.
They did say John Favreau did post negatively about Biden. Like we have to rally around a new candidate, something to that effect. I haven't listened to the pod in 10 years.
Yeah.
So I'm not too sure,
It's not
but
10 years old. That's the problem.
I listened to it probably right when they
Just
started.
in the
8
first
years
3
ago.
episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think my gut tells me is that it's going to be incredibly difficult to get this guy out. And the other rumor was Hunter Biden is now one of the senior aides.
I mean, dude, when it comes to the worst possible decisions,
So I actually think he's going to get an enormous amount of pressure now, and they're gonna blackmail him. They're gonna come up with something. They're gonna say,
Well, I
"All right,
think
so-"
it's the first time that liberal media has turned on him.
yeah,
CNN, New York Times, everyone's out.
Washington Post too.
Washington Post, everyone's out to basically say, like, this guy can't be the candidate.
Yeah,
And if you put him up, it's an automatic
but how
out.
did they? I mean, why? You should have done this a year ago.
I know.
So
You want to know
here's
why all this shit like pisses me off is because I feel like even if the media would have been a little bit more objective about him earlier,
Yeah.
like
It
this
would have happened
pressure
earlier.
would have came 2 years ago or a year ago, or like everyone's been lying.
And it could have been a nice transition.
Why were they faking it?
Because they thought people hated Trump so much, they'll vote for Joe Biden again. But the world
and they're just
changed
blindly
the same
party
way.
followers. They're just like, he's our guy, so he's our guy. And we're not going to admit anything wrong about him. It's like you're a fan of like a quarterback on a football team. You're like, nope, I refuse to believe. Like, what are you doing?
And what's interesting is you're watching it happen all over the world.
Yeah.
Le Pen kicked
Macron.
Macron's ass in France in
Yeah.
every election, the re-election, the this, the that. I'm assuming Justin Trudeau is going to get
He's going to get smoked.
destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to start seeing all over the world this happen. Look what Javier Milei is a hero. Everyone,
Yeah.
inflation is down.
So
It's happening. The change is happening.
there was
That's
a
true.
podcast I heard, Mosh News. I don't know if you've heard him. He's like super popular on Instagram. Pretty objective, like
Yeah.
news
Like
podcast.
Moshe or Mosh?
Moshe. I keep pronouncing it
Moshe.
wrong. Yeah. And he had like another senior political correspondent, and they said two different things. They said Jill Biden is the end all be all, whether he runs or not. But they also said that the donor class is done. And a lot of senior wealthy donors of the Democratic Party are like, we're not going to keep giving money, and you're going to lose the $10, the $5, the $20 donors after the debate.
Yeah.
And then they said the only donor that actually matters could be too close to home.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Because he controls Hollywood.
Well, he controls the donor class
Of
Biden,
which is mainly Hollywood, right?
him and Spielberg.
Yeah. So it's basically his decision.
It's like basically a triangulation of Jill Biden, Jeffrey Katzenberg, and Spielberg.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Like you think about this is the most powerful person on earth, and it's not decided. Presidents and leaders are figureheads.
They're appointed.
Yes. It's,
Barack Obama was appointed by Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Yeah. And David Geffen. Yeah.
And they basically said he's the guy.
Yeah.
And then obviously he has to campaign and, win over voters and do all that.
I mean, that's what blows my mind, because now I can kind of put a face to it, and I love them and everything's great. But I'm just saying, like, how those guys are so sharp. They know talent, they know marketing, they know entertainment. Like, I wonder, I would die to know what they were thinking a year ago. Like, did they just...
I really think, judging by like when you're hearing about like the insiders at the White House, Joe does not. He's not in. He's calling the shot. He
might be
running.
Kanye, dude. He might be.
Can I say the elephant in the room?
You can't get through to him.
Can I say the elephant in the room? If he's not the guy, she's next. And how do you tell her she's not the person? And the backlash you get.
But so then what happened is, so you might be totally right. What I'm saying is then your identity politics woke shit came back to screw you, because Biden said, I'm going to put a black woman as my vice president before he said Kamala Harris. He just said, because it has to be, and like, so then your whole virtuous thing just came back to bite you.
Yeah.
I think that's right. Is that offensive?
I do think,
can we keep it in?
I don't think it's offensive.
I don't think it's offensive. I think it's an honest look. There's nothing like,
and I'm the woke.
It's just an observation of where maybe playing identity politics might have came back to really put them in a tough spot. I also think Dee's probably right. It sounds like Joe is like, no. Like, what do you do if the president is like, no, dude, I'm fucking fine. I'm sharp as ever, and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, like, and the thing is
how do doctors clear him as clean bill of health?
It's all a joke.
It's because I'll be very candid. There's no 82-year-old that has a clean bill of health.
Yeah, there's
very few. Very few.
Very few.
Very few. A
Everyone
clean bill
has,
of health. Nothing shows up. Like, come on.
That's fair.
I don't think there's any 82-year-old that isn't on some sort of anti-cholesterol drugs or
that's fair.
Statins.
The problem
or
is,
whatever.
like, I'm not kidding. Between Trump and Biden, in my opinion, both equally to blame. It has really shown like how much bullshit this whole thing is.
Yeah, I think I don't
it shows
think
you how much the media lies about mental fitness. It just shows everything. You saw it with Trump. You saw it with Biden. It's just like, shit, dude. The whole thing.
And I think like this is where the voters in many countries around the world are now waking up to the fact of like, you know what? All of these people are lying to us.
Yeah.
And I'd rather vote with someone that has a couple things that I agree with, as opposed to the current chaos that's happening. And so particularly you're seeing nationalization as a very important topic that I think a lot of politicians...
Nationalism.
Yeah, nationalism.
Anti-immigration.
Yes. Nationalism is something that I think...
Well, in Europe, it's a massive issue.
It's a massive issue here. And I think all the liberal parties are just forgetting at the end of the day, like your responsibility is to your country, not every other country. And whether it's France, Canada, America, Mexico, whomever, it is your responsibility to make the country you currently reside in and represent those people. That is your only obligation. It is not your obligation to help the entire fucking world. Yeah. It's just not.
Well,
And so I think that is something that is resonating with voters all over the world, where you have to address that there's the elephant in the room is that our interest internally as a country are not aligned with each other. There's people like, we have an article here. Zelensky's wife, Olena, spent 4.5 million euros of American taxpayer money on a fucking Bugatti.
We don't know if it's fake news or not. It was like from a weird account, but I believe she has 5.
Yeah. There's only 250, so.
Yeah, she probably has.
I don't know if this report is true because it hasn't been verified. But yeah.
Because you know why? If I'm the CIA or Department of Defense, I do everything I can to discredit this story and say, this guy's a liar. She never bought it. She's reckless. You know how many videos? So I started following a lot of Ukraine accounts just to learn more about the war. And the last 48 hours, all I've gotten is all these Ukrainian elites partying and then bodies piling up of like the poor people of Ukraine.
But isn't this
crazy?
What I referenced on the last podcast, Drama? I don't know if you heard it, or I know you weren't on, but this is the tax America pays to basically run the world. So when it comes to the UN, Ukraine, you're voting with America. Zelensky got to steal 50 billion. Yeah. And the other country gets to steal 20 billion. But guess what? America runs everything that goes on in the world.
Don't you think we can run it without giving the money?
I don't know. Because they'll go elsewhere. They'll go to China. China owns Africa.
Yeah, well, they went all in on Africa early.
I hear you. And actually, like, I'm sitting here thinking about it because I think you could very well just be right.
Because my point on the last podcast, Drama, just to kind of tie a bow on it, was basically like, we talk about how inept the government is and how inept all these politicians are, but it's now like public. Like Bilkin had to go to Ukraine and say, stop stealing money, and it was publicly reported.
Right.
Stop stealing as much as you're stealing. And when you steal, please make sure everyone gets a piece.
Right.
Like that was a public report. So it's not a secret.
Yep.
Right. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around, I can't get together a counter argument right now. So I'll go with this. I would like to believe that there's a way. Look, we also run the world because we have such an insane economy, because of our location in the world has a huge piece to do with it, because we export culture all over the entire world. We're the leaders in
military.
That. There's all these things, military, obviously. There's all these things that aren't like this wasting money, force, wars bullshit. And I would like to think that we could still be the world's superpower, and maybe even a greater one, without being this disgustingly wasteful.
Reckless.
And fucking, we are just like literally the visual that you guys just described, which is exactly what's happening, of Ukrainian elites partying on yachts, while there is the next video is like a Ukrainian soldier getting shot in the face on the battlefield. And people being ripped from their families because they don't have enough soldiers, and Russian families also, is so disgusting.
Yeah.
And I just have to believe that there is a way to lead that isn't that. I don't know that that's the only way to do
I think it's just a lazy way, right?
Right. That I would agree with.
Yeah. I think the problem is, and I really wonder if, so the kind of infrastructure of the way politics is run in basically every country is flawed, right? It's very broken. And you couldn't do a reset, right? It is what it is. And there's too many people that are in on it that can't change anything. But what if we are able to get folks into politics that maybe they're just really rich, and I don't know, how do we get someone in there that makes decisions that is not in the interest of a donor, of a lobbyist?
We tried Caruso.
Yeah. I don't think you can. I think
Yeah,
you're
you
right.
can't-
That's exactly what we need. But I think it's literally the foundation that this country is actually built on.
And if
Yeah.
you think about how much Caruso's done for Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and he couldn't win,
Yeah.
and he didn't need outside money.
No.
Yeah, because people are too busy. I want to say stupid, but it's not all stupid. People are so busy and they're so whatever that like the marketing still works.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh, he's actually a Republican. He's a terrible guy. He's like, people just see the
Yeah.
headline and it works and he has no shot.
Oh yeah, and I believe the power of media is so much greater than we can never imagine. This is why, like, when you read about like the CIA had 4,000 journalists under payroll,
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah.
You put a headline in, nobody reads the article.
I just see the headline.
Terror in Los Angeles. Oh Jesus Christ, what's going on in LA? Place a shithole.
Right.
I know you listen to Rogan like I do drama.
Yeah,
He's
but I've been
going pretty. He goes pretty hard on the deep state. Like he's diving into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I think I think it's pretty undeniable, right? Like, I don't know to what level, but I think that if there's one thing that Biden has showed, it's that there has to be some sort of deep state because there's not a president. We just had 4 years without a president.
Right.
So everything, every war, everything was somebody else or you know, a group. And I think it's really easy to research like the CIA, you know, with their coups and they're swapping out leaders of other countries. And, you know, like the deep state exists. It's just, it's just on what level, how coordinated, what's really fucking going on. I don't know. It's crazy.
I mean, there's been thousands of movies about it. So why would...
And they all come true.
Yes.
The Kerry Washington show. What
Scandal?
was it? Scandal. That's way worse
Scandal?
than it is.
Okay, like, can I tell you, Scandal is one of the greatest shows ever made.
It's great.
Unfucking believable. And it was so absurd. And then while I'm watching this show over whatever, a 6-7 year period, nothing seemed absurd. I believed everything that they came up on that show was real.
Yeah.
Even the Kevin Spacey show from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
What was that on Netflix?
House of Cards.
House of Cards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's,
I mean, if Gavin Newsom becomes president, that's House of Cards.
Yeah.
It's literally.
You think he hasn't thrown someone in a subway?
Oh, yeah, that he's going on a subway just to kick people.
right. Because you want to know what else it's insane is not even to go back that far because you could probably do it about just about every war. But if you had social media and podcasts during the Iraq war, that was way crazier than Ukraine. We're seeing all this about Ukraine. We're not even there, supposedly, the boots on the ground. If you would have seen, like even seeing that like after 9/11, we went into Afghanistan, pretty much solved the problem, took out Al-Qaeda, then pivoted to Iraq, which had nothing to do, and spent 10 years there, and then back to Afghanistan and try to solve the problem that we already solved. Like that would have been nuts to see.
It's crazy how we don't revisit that because it's now known that Bush and his administration blatantly lied about nuclear weapons and uranium in Iraq.
Well, we do revisit it. No one
to-
cares. There's Vice.
No one
The
cares.
movie Vice is incredible. There's endless documentaries. It's just, it's out of
And
sight,
they
out of
outed
mind.
that CIA agent that was undercover. I think Valerie Prame.
Yeah, I remember.
And basically ruined her life. And they did so many crazy things that the movies have all done that seemed inconceivable, but they happened. But no one cared back then. That's what I don't get.
No, because we were at a different era because the trust was there. You trusted the media. The distrust of the media really started after 9/11. Was the first time I think people like were questioning things.
But it wasn't hard because we did another 10, 15 years.
But it wasn't. I'm saying, but social media,
Yeah, it
when
was too
one
fringe.
day people on Instagram started posting and then Twitter, people started posting these things. And then like some random person built a following talking about what assumed was fringe nonsense tinfoil. Then all of a sudden, a couple of these things actually happened.
Yeah. You know what I think
then you're
really
like-
helped too is like there was a lot of people that made claims during COVID, like about the origin and the transmissibility and the vaccines that, got kicked off of YouTube or whatever. And then they ended up being right. And I think that gained a lot of trust in these other voices. And I think, like, I remember after 9/11, there was a documentary called Loose Change that came out.
Yep.
And it was about, how the attacks were potentially demolitions and whatever. But it was so fringe and weird. And you were like, yeah, what if? Like, it was a circus act. Where now there's trusted voices that have been right over time that are saying these things. We didn't have those for Iraq. And now we don't care. It's too long ago. But I mean, imagine Vietnam. I wonder what Vietnam looks like under the 2024 microscope. It's probably disgusting.
My God.
It's probably crazy.
Yeah.
We're not even
ass kicked.
Yeah. And we packed up and left. It's just, I mean, the fact that this woman is allegedly, but we know that it's this plus a few yachts, buying a $4.5 million Bugatti while the country is at war. And they need our money. They need our help. They're going to.
Yeah.
It's
waving
such a
flags
joke.
on the fucking.
Zelensky's nervous. He did an interview that I saw this morning where he's like, Trump wants to end the war.
Yeah, it's over.
And now that, it's likely he's going to be the president.
Yeah.
And he's scared. He's like, what's he going to do? How's he going to end the war?
I mean,
because he wants the money train to keep going.
You're back to
You already took
comedy
50
shows.
billion. Relax.
do you know why? He's dead. The coup will happen.
Go to Dubai.
He would have to leave because
He's going.
he
to
led
Dubai.
the country in the wrong direction. They're going to have to give up part of the country.
Yeah.
They'll have no choice.
Yeah, he's very nervous.
Yeah, and I think,
should be.
I mean, this is like an example of like, if there's interference in our election, I'd look at Ukraine.
Right.
I mean, come on.
I don't know how much interference is needed for Biden to get votes.
Yeah, I mean,
Right, but it's going to be Vladimir Smith voted 7 times. Because there's one guy whose literal life depends on fucking Biden staying in there.
yeah,
And it's not
because they'll
Biden.
drag that thing out another 4 or 5 years.
Oh man,
He knows he's got
I can't
4 more
believe this
years
is
and
where we're
100
at.
billion. It's crazy. It's just, this is the thing that makes me so frustrated is just that, like, there was like 2 weeks ago or something, like a Washington Post or someone article about like Joe Biden's never been sharper. And, they're saying at the press conferences, like, no, wow, like seeing him in action is really, it's just like, it literally reminds me of North Korea. Like, it's just like, what are you doing, dude? We all see it. We see the guy stumbling. We see the fumbles. We see him wandering around on stage. Like, leaning into that and trying to act like it was okay, it just destroys your trust. And it's such a long-term loss for the party.
And it's the first time that objective left-leaning media are like, what was going on? Why didn't you let reporters in? Why didn't you do this? But they all knew. So why didn't they say it 6 months ago?
Because you have to fall in line. And when it was fine to not fall in line, everyone all of a sudden.
Remember when
switched.
fucking on the campaign trail, they were saying that Joe Biden was hiding in his basement because he wouldn't do any press. This has been since day one. They've been Weekend at Bernie's this thing. And instead of like being like, good thing we got away with that, let's now figure out our plan for 2024. They just lied and tried to make everyone believe they weren't seeing what they were seeing.
And everyone saw it and no one wanted to accept it.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be the party of like virtue and good. And like you're lying. You're gaslighting and lying the entire country. It just feels so like dirty.
Yeah, because we expect that from the Republican Party.
We do. To be honest, like you do. They seem more like the greedy, who just want to win.
At least we know what they want. They want to maintain some power. They want to,
Cut taxes.
And make
they
their
want to
friends
win
money.
and get rich.
Yeah. Deregulate, cut taxes, and make the homies money. That's the Republican playbook.
I mean, who is against that? I want all my homies to get rich.
Yeah. And I want less taxes and all the above. It's so frustrating that like, oh, now we all say, what? Joe Biden's not fit? I didn't think Joe Biden did that bad for Joe Biden. Like there wasn't anything he did on that stage where I was like, oh, fuck, that's a new level. He's been doing that.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's been trailing off in speech and whatever.
I
But
mean,
anyway.
I'm surprised he even stood up for an hour and a half.
I know. All right. Well, hey, that's where we're at. Do we want to rip through some news?
Yeah,
real
let's do a
quick?
couple topics here.
Okay. Dee, do you have any favorites here you want to pick?
Yeah, the first one I really want to talk about is, everyone's talking about, and you're seeing it in the data. The consumer has been soft. A lot of bankruptcies. I don't know if you're live next to a Rite Aid, either of
close.
you, but the Rite Aid near me, we went yesterday.
Didn't they go bankrupt?
They're going through bankruptcy. It's not clear if it's a liquidation or a reorg, but they're closing a shitload of stores, and Walgreens too. I went to my local Rite Aid. There ain't nothing fucking in there.
Yeah. I had
the pharmacy is the
up.
only thing operating. Like you can pick up pharmacy, but like we are going to have this pretty big wave of bankruptcies over the next 6 months, whether it's retail, whether it's large trucking companies, warehouse. I saw a huge 3PL company go out of business. So it's clearly that the consumer is soft. But then on the other side of things, U.S. airports are setting daily passenger records.
Right.
So this is fascinating.
Right.
7 of the 10 busiest air travel days in history of the TSA happened between May 23rd and June 27th of this year. Then the number of people, more than 32 million people are projected to fly between last Thursday and July 8th, a 5.4% increase over last year's Independence Day. That's 1.5 million more people are flying this year. Then the only thing that changed is that airfare has dropped 6%, 5.9% drop in airfare. So like that, but think about it. The average flight is $300. That $18 drop is not why you're flying.
So I think 2 different things. One, the travel. So Dee and I were in San Diego. We went to Legoland, family reunion with our cousins and my mom, etc.
Yeah.
And I was in the pool with our kids for most of the time. A lot of grandma and grandpas footing the bill.
Yeah.
Right. They're rich.
So I think vacation and tourism is grandma and grandpa.
Yeah. You want to go buy something hot at the store? Grandma, grandpa ain't supporting you buying that woke brand.
And I saw grandma and grandpa. I saw grandma and grandpa like signing the bills. They were doing everything.
I saw grandma and grandpa limping around Legoland.
Right.
Tired.
Everyone's
Because
got a
they've
Joe
been
Biden.
running-
They're just trying to keep them moving to like keep supporting, keep the train going.
And I think the separate part of the equation is grandma and grandpa want to, enjoy their family's lives and vacations for the next however long they live. But then when you get back on Tuesday, you can't go to Rite Aid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Grandma and grandpa went home.
Yeah, it's hard to go, hey, grandma, what's going on with that Erewhon bill?
Yeah.
But grandma, when you want to
man.
go on a vacation, spend time with them,
Grandma will
they'll pay for everything.
Yeah.
Right. That's the trick. That might be all this travel. Grammy
You
and
sent to
Grampy.
vacation all year round with
Yeah,
grandma
you're
and
like,
grandpa.
I gotta eat.
And
We
you
gotta
gotta
go to
just
Myrtle
move
Beach
in.
with Grammy and Grampy.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and you move in. Why fuck around?
Yeah.
You want to live off that NASDAQ and S&P
That's 76
500
trillion.
I'll tell
all-time
you
high?
what, this feels ripe for like a Netflix. I hate to say it, but like a future documentary about, living off of Grammy and Grampy. There might be some weird
the only
murders
hope.
that happen.
Tourism is definitely driven by grandma and grandpa. The 32 million people flying this week, what, grandma and grandpa paid for what, 20 million of this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Because otherwise it doesn't make sense that, like things I think are pretty brutal. Like we've had pretty severe inflation for a while. Like you said, all of these store closures, people are obviously losing jobs because of that. you hear all these stories about people having to cut back on groceries or things like that, but then travels through the roof. So other than Graham and Gramps, we know that all the credit cards are maxed out. We know credit card debt is at an all-time high. Like
defaults on credit cards are rising. Defaults on buy now and pay later are rising. People are late on rent. Late payments on mortgages. So all the signals are there. The problem is that the government provided data says something completely different. The government says everything is fine and Sleepy's doing a great job.
Don't you think it's funny that grandma and grandpa would love to go to Legoland but don't want to pay for their kids' rent?
Yeah, because
they might be paying for kids' rent.
They want the experience. They don't get to experience that apartment. They want to.
Yeah.
I'm sure grandma and grandpa are like, hey, I've been asking you to hang out with me for a decade. Now you want to? We're going to fucking Legoland then.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Motherfucker. I'm not coming over to your place to watch HBO. Fucking Game of Thrones. We're going to Disneyland. God damn it.
Exactly. And I think the big thing that the Fed was speaking about it today, there's a couple things that, like, not specifically Jerome Powell, but other Fed chairs have shared that they are now positioning. This is unbelievable positioning. All the immigration, the illegal immigration, is deflationary.
Because they're going to take the jobs that other people won't
and
take at lower wages.
Lower wages. So they said the immigration has been fantastic for deflation.
Ugh.
I don't think, I mean, it's just, the spin is unbelievable. Then Jerome Powell spoke today about how AI is going to be very deflationary. But what he forgets to say is, yes, it's going to be deflationary, but there's going to be a shift in job. And I'm not convinced that it's like these people lose their jobs forever. It'll just shift to where the jobs will go. Do I know what those jobs are going to be? No, but there will be new jobs.
Of course.
Right.
It's happened in every tech cycle.
Innovation cycle. So it's just like the positioning of how, like, they position bad news as good because it's just about the market. Nothing else matters. We just hit an all-time high of S&P 500, all-time high of NASDAQ, Google, Apple, Amazon.
Tesla's up 40% year to date.
Tesla's on fire.
That was another trade I didn't make. We got to get our fund started.
Yeah, we got to get, that was the obvious one.
It was.
Yeah,
So last point on the economy. So a friend of mine knows a salesperson at Chanel. Said
a store
at the Beverly Hills store,
right
here, and said business is in the toilet.
Yep,
they're not hitting their numbers and they're not getting their bonuses. Is that a Chanel problem, or is it a luxury problem, or is it the economy problem?
Well, it could be an LA luxury problem where people in LA are broke,
or they just know it's going to get stolen on the way out to the car.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
3 years ago, you couldn't even get an appointment at Chanel.
I know, but that may be more a reflection of the local LA market, where LA is more softer than New York City.
Tourism's back.
Maybe, but is Chinese tourism back? I don't see any Chinese people.
The Chinese are here.
They're here? What about Arabs? I don't see any Arabs.
They'll come now. It's hot.
Yeah, but they could be in Europe. They're in Italy.
Be in Europe. Yeah, they could be there.
So
have you heard that? Have you heard Chanel's soft?
I've not heard the brand Chanel is soft.
Which I have always been under the assumption that Chanel's like the hottest thing on the planet.
So I think it's more, and I'd like to see the demand globally for the brand, because the thing is, there's many moving parts here. Is it an LA problem? Is it a Chanel problem? Or is it a luxury problem? Like, my gut tells me it's an LA and luxury problem, not necessarily brand Chanel problem. Because if you just go to these stores, they all have sales right now, which is not typical.
I told you Chanel had a 40% sales off.
I went shopping I needed some pants the other day, and not everything 50 off, 60 off at
a fancy place,
at a popular brand.
What's the brand?
I'm friends with them. I don't want to put their sale on blast.
Okay.
But I was surprised to see some of the stuff that was on sale.
Amiri.
Not a Mary.
It could be an LA problem. I wonder if LA is.
I'll tell you, in my neighborhood, a month ago or 6 weeks ago, there was only one house for sale. Now there's 8. This is a 5-street area. Not that many houses. There's 8 homes now for sale. People might just be packing up.
LA's toast.
I mean, also, like, it's just not a good city to come do luxury shit right now.
No.
There was a friend of mine that I spoke to recently. I guess I'll keep it really vague. Bought a watch. The jeweler, not him, the jeweler posted, shout out to blah, 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 buying the new watch. 2 days later, house broken into.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he famous?
Yeah. No, I mean, mildly, but like just saw, okay, jeweler, wow, he bought a $100,000 watch.
It.
No, I know, but how do you find where this guy lives?
You could find people.
Yeah. He's not famous enough. I think people in LA, what else did I learn? I have heard that part of the operation is that some people who work in the nightlife world are corresponding with the robbers.
The crime syndicates.
So they know who, because after parties and blah, 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 they know who's out that night. They know who's heading home with a watch on. They know who's. So I've heard that that's a big part of the operation. So anyone who's like out and about, they probably know where you live, especially if you have nice stuff. They've probably followed you home or been to your house for a party. And so that's probably how. But literally just posting, hey, this guy just bought a $100,000 watch. 2 days later, they went to try to get it. That's how quick the turnaround is. No, they didn't.
But so my other point is this is happening in every metropolitan city around the world. So when we went to
not Miami.
Paris, maybe not Miami, but in Paris 3 weeks ago, our friend who is like very well versed in the city told her, leave your wedding ring in the hotel room.
Right. But it seems you're right. You're totally right. I think Miami is good. I think the Hamptons are probably good. It seems like there's a lot of people in that area this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think there's places where if you're in that world, you would just go instead of, or you'd go to Mexico or go to Hawaii or go to, I don't know. It just seems like if I was watching from afar, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to go to LA and load up on Chanel this summer.
Yeah, it's not the place to do it.
Right.
It's not a city to be flashy. In Miami, everyone's flashy. Everyone's luxury head to toe all the time.
But there's crime there too.
Yeah, but I think there's a chance the person you're robbing has a Glock.
Gun.
Boom.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard that Miami is not like LA in that regard. They have it a little bit.
I don't think it's happening. Like you go to the design district in Miami, every single person's drenched in luxury. Watches, cars.
Yeah.
And I don't think people look afraid at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they're walking around in an $800 Loewe t-shirt.
Yeah, there's a gun in that bag.
Yeah. In that Dior holster.
Yeah. What else? I mean, we got
winners, losers content.
Okay, let's do it. D, who is your winner for the last week?
So my winner is the fast food consumer or a consumer of goods that are, fast casual and fast food places. Sonic just launched their new $1.99 value menu.
Nice.
You can now get quarter pounder double cheeseburger for $1.99, bacon ranch queso wrap, Southwest crunch queso wrap, and any of the 12 flavors of Sonic shakes in a 16-ounce size, all $1.99. We know McDonald's launched their $5 pack. Taco Bell has $7, and Starbucks is now starting to do buy one, get one. So
it is
you can
a great
go and
opportunity. Like with all this press about how much prices are up, it's a real opportunity to do this type of thing.
And you can now go and get these like deals where you can get a buy one, get one free grande caramel frappuccino. And I as a person who like uses Starbucks app and, like I'll go on Postmates, there's so many deals now If you want $10 off, $15 off, $5 off,
Right.
if you're willing to spend a few minutes before you order something, there's a deal for you.
I've ordered Ubers and there's some reward I received and it says $0 to ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, great.
I feel like you'll see a lot of that.
We are, this is the problem. It's like, I wish we could get real data. Not, the unemployment data
Right.
where everyone who's firing is removed from the.
Right.
Honestly, the real data is Amazon, Walmart. If they were able to share, because they doctor their numbers, obviously, because they're publicly traded.
I know, but
they know what the consumer is.
I know, but they're the leader in this space. The problem is American retail, like Amazon and Walmart, don't represent 75% of retail purchasing in America. They maybe combined represent 40%. And so there's a 60 other percent of people. Right? Yeah. Like you got to know that, like, I don't know. Everything from unemployment to wages. I wish I could get the real data.
Yeah. You're not.
But in the meanwhile, winner is if you do have some cash, even our Legoland, we hadn't bought tickets and I got served an ad, buy one, get one free. And so I tell my wife and my cousin, like, look, start searching for this coupon. And then we all got served the ad and we bought it. Buy one, get one free to Legoland.
Yeah. I think that's good. That is a plus in this weird economy. There's going to be some deals. Anand, who's your winner?
Steve Ballmer, former CEO of Microsoft, owner of the Los Angeles Clippers. He has now eclipsed Bill Gates as richer than he is at 157 billion.
That's unbelievable. That's to hold on.
Due to
he just never sold his shares.
Right. I saw like a thing that said if Bill Gates had never diversified, if he had just kept his Microsoft shares, he would be like a trillionaire.
I think so. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So he made like $2.5 billion yesterday. Steve Ballmer did.
I mean, it's a lesson. I don't know that it's the lesson, but it's a lesson in not diversifying.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they say. Hold your winners.
I mean, Bill Gates went and like developed vaccines and bought up farmland and fucking invested in all these things.
And think
Steve
about
Ballmer
it.
just sat.
And Bill Gates is hated.
Right.
And Steve Ballmer gets to sip his margaritas with his mans and them next to him.
And he built his own stadium just for himself.
Yeah, I mean, he could have paid for it yesterday with this stock increase.
It really is like an interesting study.
You want to know the interesting story about Steve Ballmer? When he started Microsoft, he had got zero equity.
So so Bill Gates just gave him equity along the way?
Well, when they realized he was like, okay, this guy's not completely useless, they gave him like 6-7% of Microsoft, like in the 1980 whatever, and the guy just never sold it.
Wow. I mean, that's incredible.
I mean, think about it not working for the last 15 years, and you made $100 billion.
Yeah,
America.
Such a great place.
It is. I mean, come on, man. Okay, that's a good one. My winner is Julian Assange. I don't know if we talked about it. It looks like he is on a path to freedom.
Yep.
Sounds like there's a lot of things he has to do, but I mean, the guy's been like, wherever the hell he's been, embassies and prison and whatever. So, hey, I have no idea. I didn't read enough about it to know, is this like a election coming up, like good deed? I know like freeing Julian Assange has been asked of presidents for the last couple, but
you think there's a deep state?
No, I think it's just like legalizing marijuana. Like, look, I'm doing good things. I'm freeing Julian Assange. He's not, whatever. I don't know. I didn't read enough about it, but it's a pretty crazy. There's a lot there.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I'm sure it'll come out, but I don't think the average voter gives a shit about Julian Assange. I know like super sophisticated reporters do.
Right. I agree.
So I don't know what the benefit. What's like the chess game? Yeah, I know there was like
plots to assassinate him. Like he was definitely, enemy number one, and now all of a sudden he's on.
He can't do any damage now. The guy's probably senile.
I mean, he must have gone nuts in that asylum that he was in.
Yeah,
Right, but I mean, are you going to let
He
this
was
guy come
throwing
back and start a podcast?
That was when he was at the embassy, right?
Yeah, he was throwing his feces against the wall.
Yeah, he loses
Right.
his mind.
But this guy's going to be on Rogan in a month.
Easy. But can
Start
he
a
come back
pod?
to Austin? I don't. They sent him to Australia, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think he could just transfer
Fly to
right back
Austin.
into America.
Okay,
yeah.
3
Just come
months.
back.
There's going to
Yeah.
be a year, whatever. This guy's coming straight to Rogan and start getting a Spotify deal.
Okay.
Who's your loser, D?
My loser is anyone hating on Bronny,
Oh yeah, They're all
NBA
losers.
star. Bronny James.
You know what's funny is I was gonna replace my loser with another winner, which is Bronny.
So he's now a Los Angeles Laker.
Yep.
Woo.
You know, made that leap from the collegiate ranks to the professional ranks. And I'm down with it. I'm so down with nepotism. I think it's the greatest thing in the world.
And he signed. So he's a 55th pick, a second rounder. He signed a 4-year, $7.9 million contract.
So he gets
So
million.
for context, a second rounder may get will get the minimum, but they have to make the team, and they have to go through summer league. So this is nepotism at its finest, and I'm fine with it.
I don't have a problem. It's the same thing. Like I don't have a problem with legacy Harvard admissions. I don't have a problem with nepotism in sports. I don't have a problem with it anyways. This is why we all work our asses off so that our children can benefit from it. So I'm for it. I think it's just part of society and you should be allowed to do it. He made the call.
Yeah, and he built the league.
Yeah.
Or he didn't build the league. He carried the league for the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah. He paid his dues. And by the way, the Lakers could have not drafted him too.
No, they couldn't.
No, I'm just saying they could have. They could have said no, and then he would have resigned somewhere else. That's it. Right? LeBron would have re-signed with the Mavericks or something and win 2 titles.
But the Lakers need star power.
Exactly.
Can you imagine Bronny?
I know what I'm saying is the Lakers had a choice. It's not,
It was a business decision.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
free market.
which is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a free market, 100%.
And then they,
Genie Bus needs LeBron to fill seats and have Leonardo DiCaprio and Lewis Hamilton courtside.
Plus, think
'Cause
about
if he's not there-
the ticket sales and the TV viewership just to see them play together. It's good business.
oh
Yeah,
yeah.
they'll get every national game, period.
You have a first in the history of the
Yeah,
league on your team. You want that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's good.
Just a kid from Akron, another one made it.
Well, yeah,
Against
he
the
is
odds.
actually technically.
Yeah,
another
technically.
kid.
I think he was born at Akron General.
Akron really has a high return rate here.
And we
Ohio's
just tripled
hot.
we just doubled our successful alumni.
You Rob, the Paul brothers,
Yeah.
the James
Well,
family.
that's now you're getting into Cleveland and Dayton, okay? And those are very different.
All right, who's
Uh,
yours?
Did I go? It was Anand, right?
Yeah, I'll do a quick loser just to recap. I think it's the American consumer because we were at Legoland and
My winner is the American consumer. We got a deal.
we got a
Right, two
deal.
different
But
perspectives. Yeah, that's good.
so I was only there for like 45 minutes. I don't know if it changed after I left, but there were 0 people in line for any ride.
It got a little bit busier later, but
Okay.
not crazy.
Because we were told by our cousins that those were typically 2.5 hour wait lines, and you could just walk up
Yeah.
and get on a
There's
ride.
also a lot of Legolands. Keep in mind, it's not like only one.
But I would think on a July 4th pre-weekend where school's off, it should be busier. So and buy one get one free.
That's fair.
They're begging people to come to the park, and no one was
Right.
there.
Right. That's fair.
So
You know what else I meant to
That's-
tell you
that's
in the
right.
group chat on him, but I'll just tell you now is I don't know if you saw, but the UFC fight happened last week, and the guy who won the main event, Alex Pereira, got out of the ring, not on TV, this was on the internet, got out of the ring, went up to one of the media girls, still sweating out of the ring, handed her a Zin.
wow, Zin's hot.
It's just everywhere.
Great marketing.
My losers, we already said it. It was to really highlight the everyone who said Joe Biden is sharper than ever 2 weeks ago. his leadership skills are just amazing. You wouldn't even believe it until you were in the room. It's just you were lying, and like everyone knows you were lying, and now that's just so dirty and terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, we already talked about it. Content, D?
My content, a movie I held out from renting for $3.99, $4.99, is now out on Amazon Prime. Beekeeper. Unbelievable.
Who's
the star
content?
of that?
Jason Statham.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It is just unbelievable.
What's like give it 30
He's
seconds?
like,
$3.99.
He is like a part of a rogue part of like the CIA.
Like
Right.
that.
Hot.
Is it just
I'm down
action?
for CIA content.
It's so funny how like there's no more like terrorist movies because you can't show like
yeah, the other countries.
other countries. It's just
Yeah.
bad. We have to be able to show other countries or trying to attack us.
Did they show other countries?
No, they made it like a
fake country?
a waspy white kid as the person
It's like
they're
Top
attacking.
Gun. They just made up.
No, instead they just
place.
go after the waspy white guy as the arch nemesis.
That's probably
against
not a good idea in 2024.
Is that a
Nah,
woke thing?
for sure it's a woke thing. You can't put
Right.
like, Iraqis are trying
I
to
don't know
attack
if it's
us.
a woke thing. It's basically to get international box office revenue. So if you portray China negatively,
China, I
I
get.
see.
There's a business decision. The rest of the world, we care.
Yeah, there's some countries that aren't going to move our
Some countries we
numbers.
could just roll the dice on.
I think it's a woke
Cyprus.
thing that they're worried that
Yeah.
they'll be like, how are you portraying?
It is a woke thing. You cannot. My representation needs to be right on in movies.
Okay. Beekeeper. Anand?
my content is a song. It's called Move. And it's sort of deep house. So Justin Kahn, who started Twitch, has now become a DJ and a producer.
Amazing.
Released this song with Adam Port. He produced the song. He's on it. His DJ name is Sorso, I believe.
Okay.
And I kind of know him. He's an acquaintance. 34 million streams in 3 weeks.
Wow.
Great.
Summer.
He's got a
summer
lot of
club
big heavy
anthem.
hitters on that song. It's not just two guys.
No, it's Adam Port. Keenan Music is the big one.
Yeah.
And then him.
And Strive.
Yeah. But
Summer club anthem. Summer South of France anthem.
and people that I've talked to that don't know anything about him are saying it's the song of the summer in Europe.
Okay. It seems like it would be deep house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great song. Move.
All right, move. I got another book. This one I think our listeners will like, especially the entrepreneurial ones. It is called How to Get Rich by Felix
Ooh.
Dennis. Now,
And?
don't
How do
be
you do it?
turned off by the title because it sounds, even when I was reading it on my trip at the pool, I kind of like hid the cover because it just looked so lame. But Felix Dennis is the guy who created Dennis Publishing. They Maxim magazine.
Yeah.
And it actually is like a very practical, like about finding talent and firing. And it's actually a very well thought out book, even though the cover is just wildly obnoxious. So
Okay.
to our
I like it.
entrepreneurial listeners, check it out.
So how do you get rich? You fire people and hire
you
good
just
people?
hire people, then you fire other people. And if you pick the right ones, you get rich. If you get rid of the bad ones and bring on the good ones, you end up rich. Okay, that's it. That's all we got. We got to go.
Okay.
Great episode. We will see you Sunday. We're here Sunday. Yeah.
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 We're here Sunday.
No more
Okay.
travel for me.
Everyone enjoy the July 4th weekend. Watch your fingers. Don't blow them off.
Yep.
Enjoy some time, hopefully, with friends and family, some barbecues.
USA.
USA. Yeah, you know what? Let's just take this moment this weekend to really just remember what it's like to live in the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
Even as bad as we're trying to mess it up, we can't. We'll see you Sunday.